Hi, my name's Matthew Powell and you join me today at the lovely Patshull Park Fishery where we're going to do a little bit of silverfish fishing. It's not for everybody, I know that, but it's something different. Ben's asked me to come down to as part of the pro series that he's doing at the moment. He's got some great people coming on and I'm sure it's going to be really good for you, the members, to look at and also learn from. So I think what we'll do now is, now we've introduced ourselves, we've introduced the lake, we'll cut it back now and I'll go and show you the baits for the pole and the feeder line. So we're just going to have a bit of a break from fishing again and I'm going to talk to you about the pole mix. So the pole mix here for me is a non-selective mix. So what I mean by that is I want to catch everything that swims on it. Roach, perch, skimmers, bream, tench, even carp if they want to come and move in on it. So I don't want a fish meal ground bait. So why I don't want a fish meal ground bait is I want to catch everything that swims. Perch, roach, little skimmers, they're not really going to come over and a fish meal ground bait straight away. It might take a little time for them to come over it, but it's too rich. I just want a cereal based mix that's not got a lot of food content in, that the fish can come in over and I can get an initial start. So this is the reason why I use this mix. So it's the new Supernatural cereal biscuit. So basically this is a really rich biscuity mix. There's no fish meal in it, it's just a natural ground bait, a biscuit ground bait. Really sweet biscuit, which is important. So it's nice and sweet, so it's going to draw fish in, but it's quite active. So this mix now is even more active for the pole, so I want it nice and active. So what I'm going to do is, instead of mixing it like getting a pint of this, a pint of that, there's a kilo bag here. I'm just going to put a kilo bag straight in like that, and then from an old session that I've had before, I've got half a bag of Proactive. So this is a 2 kilo bag, a kilo and a kilo, 50-50 mix. I'm not going to take anything out of the mixes. I'm not going to riddle them. I'm not going to take flour sieve them. I'm not going to take any of the bits out. I want them bits in. I want it to hold the fish in your peg. Proactive, it's exactly what it says on the label. It's really active. I want an active mix. So 50% of that goes in. So it's a 50-50 mix. Proactive, I'll just put that in the thing so it don't blow away. And literally all I'm going to do, same again, mix it all dry, and you can see when it's dry all the particles in this mix. It's really rich with particles and a lot of specks of food in there, and that the fish are going to love and they're going to go mad for. So what I'm going to do again, I'm not going to flood the mix. Just going to add it bit at a time so it starts coming together. You can smell that really sweet biscuit as well, which is really nice. Then it's going to take a lot of water, this is, so you need to be prepared for that. Just keep the drill moving. Finish that off. So that for now will be absolutely perfect. It's slightly over wetted, so if I make that into a ball for you, it's really like over wetted ground bait. So that's perfect for what I want, because there's a lot of particles in the ground bait and a lot of biscuits and hemp and all this sort of ingredients in it. I want them to take on all the water. I want them to be swollen. I want them to be, everything needs to be taken on water, needs to be heavy. Because what I want to do, I don't want to introduce this into balls. I actually just want to put it in loose. So I'm getting a nice area of bait on the floor, on the bottom, sorry, should I say, of the lake. And then you've got a massive area then for the fish to graze over. So I can fish in different areas of the ground bait if I like. I will put some balls in with feeding like worms, if I want to make a little bit of a worm bomb, try and attract some better fish maybe. But maybe I'm just going to put some dead pinkies in, sorry, and that's it really. It's nothing technical. It's just 50-50 ground bait mix. Then we've got some maggots for the hook, pinkies for the hook, pinkies loose feed as well. Sometimes it can bring more fish into the peg, and again, like I've just said, dead pinkies, and it's really simple. I've got no casters. People might think, why haven't I got any casters? Because for me, if you're catching small fish, casters is just a waste of time. They're too big. The casters are too big, they're too hard. Small fish aren't going to eat them, they're going to avoid them, so they're just going to be sat on the bottom. Yes, you can argue that it could pull some better fish in your peg and hold them in your peg for later on in the match or in your pleasure session, but to be honest, I'd rather just keep this line non-selective and then add my feeder line for my selective bit. So there's the ground bait. In 10 minutes time this will have taken on all that water. I'll have to add quite a lot more water to it. So what we'll do, I think, we'll whiz in now, go back on the box and put it into action. Now we're all tackled up in the water, what I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce my bait into the peg. Now, I'm fishing two lines, so I've got a pole line and a feeder line. So now it's important for me to know what line to feed first. So we're going to be starting on the pole, so the last thing I want to do is feed my feeder line first. That might sound really like pedantic to most people, but it makes a massive difference, and it is one of the most important things when you're fishing two lines on a natural venue like this. You must feed the line you're going to start with first. So if you're going to start on a top kit, you feed that first. If you're going to start at 30 meters, you feed that first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed my initial bait for my pole first, then I'm going to feed my feeder line, then I'm going to put a rig on, go out and go on my pole. So it does two things. One, you're getting your bait in first on the line you're going to start with. So what that means is that bait has got time to settle. So I fed my bait, it's gone down to the bottom, it's quite deep, it's probably getting on for 8 maybe touching 9 foot deep. So what we need is that peg to settle a little bit. The last thing you want to do is put a load of feed out on the feeder, put your balls in on your pole, go in on your pole, and it hasn't settled. So basically all I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a decent handful of bait, pop it in the pot. Now it's over wetted, this ground bait, so what you can do, yes, it's top 4 deep, but it doesn't make a difference. I want a nice big area of bait. So I'm going to press it down. All I've done there is I've just put a cup of loose ground bait in. You can see some live pinkies, a few live pinkies, a few dead pinkies in the mix. So then all I'm going to do is I'm going to ship this out and I'm going to put it a little bit short of where I'm fishing. So I'm fishing to the end of my pole, so I've just come back about a foot. I've lined up with a tree on the far bank. There's like 2 trees together. I'm just going to turn my pot and I'm just going to tap my pole and that will come out. There you go. So that ball's now come out. That'll start going down. What that's going to do, halfway down, it's going to break up and all them particles are going to go through the water and they're going to spread across the bottom, and it's going to mean that a lot of fish are going to come into the peg. So that's my first ball. I always do that really on here. I always put a ball in loose. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a ball. So I just grab a decent amount of ground bait with my hand, give it 3 squeezes, pop it in the pot. So now you've got to think, obviously that bait has gone down. Again, slightly short because we're fishing on the slope. So I want everything to be slightly short. Turn your pot, in it goes. That's going to go straight down. Now again, pick my ground bait up. Not making anything too hard. Just nice and soft. Squeeze the balls nice and soft. Nothing, don't have to go mad. Just feed your ground bait nice, and if you squeeze it too hard, what happens is your balls will stay on the bottom and they won't break up, and you want them to break up. So again, slightly shorter of where I'm fishing. So turn my pot, introduce that ball. So now you can see in my peg that there's bubbles and activity coming off that ball. So this is the last one. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to make this quite hard. So I've got a loose ball that I've introduced first, 2 softer balls that are going to get down to the bottom but break away straight away. But now what I'm going to introduce is a ball that's really hard. So I'm really compacting the ground bait, so it's like a really hard ball. What that's going to do is it's going to take a lot longer to break down, meaning that I can hold fish in the peg for a lot longer. So obviously I've got that loose one, which is going to make the big bed of bait over the bottom, and then I've got the 2 softer balls that are going to go down to the bottom. Then they're going to break up on the bottom. But this one will go down, hit the deck, and it won't break up for a little while because I've really compacted it. So I'm just going to turn that, and that's going to go straight down. And look, you can't see any bubbles from that whatsoever. It's gone straight down. That'll go straight down, hit the bottom, and it'll stay there for a little bit. So that's the pole fed. And it's as easy as that. That's it now for the pole. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my top cupping kit down. I'll talk you through what I'm going to put in on the feeder line, and we'll introduce that bait now. What we're going to do now is we're going to start fishing. So we've let the ground bait settle. There's a few blows coming up, so I don't actually know what's going to go on. So this is literally the first chuck we're going to have. So I don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, all I'm going to do is put a maggot on, we'll ship out, get the bait down, and we'll see what happens. It might be a fisher chuck, it might not be, I don't know. So I'm just going to edge my bets, put a single maggot on, and we'll see how it goes. So normally on this line there's a lot of fish, so 13 metres. I'm just going to put my bulk in. I'm just going to drop everything down because I want to get it down to that ground bait. Oh, there's a few blows come up next to my float then. Just want to get it down to that ground bait and get it in. So, oh, that's straight away. That's a bite straight away. That didn't take very long. So they're only small, it's only a small fish, but it's a little roach. So straight away, I'm putting weight into my net. So if this was a match, first drop, you'd be happy. So again, maggot, change my maggot because that one was first a little bit. So again, same again. Put your bulk in over your ground bait, lower it down, stop when the float hits the water, and just lower it down to the fish. Oh, straight away, there's loads of fish there. And there you go, straight away. Slightly better stamp fish, that one. Might be a little skim at this, maybe. Yeah, a little skim at that look. So for second chuck, I'm happy with that. It's a nice little skimmer. Again, these are sort of like the bread and butter fish you're looking for on the pole. Just get that hook out. Nice little 3-4 ounce skimmer. So yeah, like I say, they're the bread and butter fish you're sort of looking for really on the Powell. Little tip there, just a little bit of slime on the line, so get all the slime off. So just use your finger and your nail. Always have a towel. Bad angling, didn't have my towel ready. Just get that slime off. Check the elastic again, and then we're away again. So that's our second fish. So I'm already happy because I've already caught a little tiny skimmer. So what that means is there's a few in the area if you're going to catch a little one straight away. So again, just everything is the same every time. So the way I put my rig in, everything is the same every time. So I can get it down to the bottom, get it to them feeding fish over that ground bait. There's a fish on there now. There we go, there's another one. So this one's a little fish again, but I'm not bothered. Just literally, just keep, as long as you keep fish coming into your net, the better. Change that maggot because that maggot was bladdered a little bit. Now another thing you might notice is I haven't got a cad pot on, or I'm not feeding any bait. It's because I fed that initial ground bait in, so I don't want to be feeding a load of bait into my peg when I don't know what's going to happen. If I start introducing bait via a catapult or via a little kinder pot, it could blow my peg straight away. It's not like a commercial. Well, that could be a little tiny fish, that one. It's not like a commercial fishery. I've put my bait in, I've set my trap. It's just a case now of going in and catching fish over the top. So I think I'll catch one more. So if this was a match now, I'd be doing this for an hour. Just in and out, getting these small fish in, hopefully get to about 4 or 5 pound in weight. And then I'll look to go on a different line. So we'll catch one more. So my bait's settled. Floats under, and there you go. That's a slightly better stamp fish again. So probably a decent better roach. There you go. So there you go. That's how quick and easy it is. So straight away I've got 5 fish in the net for about 10 ounces. So I think what we'll do is we'll keep fishing this line for an hour, make it work, keep fishing, keep going, and then I'll update you if anything happens in the peg. Been fishing for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes now, I'd say, and the stamp has changed in the peg. So what I've done is was catching, you've seen them first 5 fish I had, the second fish was a skimmer. What's happened now is the 4, 5, 6 ounce skimmers have got involved. So what I've done, I've put a heavier rig on, a 0.8 rig, my 0.8 rig, and a better elastic, a size 8 elastic. So what that's going to do is it's going to hook the fish better, and I'm going to be able to swing most of the fish in. Also this rig I've got about 2-3 inches over depth, so I'm just waiting, and there you go, there's a better stamped fish again. So they are better stamped fish. We'll have to wait a little bit longer, but straight away you can see it's a better stamped fish. So that's another 2-3 ounce skimmer again. So straight away we've worked it out, and I've worked out that by putting 2 maggots on, and getting some line on the bottom, heavier rig to get it down. We're going to catch some better fish. The double maggot. I haven't fed anything so far. There's no need to. There's fish there. They're on that ground bait. There is no need whatsoever to feed anything at the moment. I think if I was to feed anything, I could push the fish away. I could spook them possibly. That's a fish take that. I took that on the way down. Small fish. There's that many fish in the peg. I think Ben's a little bit shocked, to be honest, how big the venue is, and there's that many fish here. It's frightening. But yeah, now it's changed a little bit. What I would be inclined to do is be inclined to get an even heavier rig on, like a gram maybe, and get it down past the small fish, because I'm struggling to get the bait in the water, if I'm honest, before it gets snaffled up. But we'll see if we can get the bait down this time, get it through. There you go, we're fishing there. Right, that's fishing now. So hopefully this will be a better stamp fish. So rig's down on the bottom. Float's just gone behind a bit of a leaf there. Probably struggle to see my float a little bit now. Yeah, like I say, we just have to wait a little tiny bit longer for a bite, but they seem to be. There's a bite there. There's a little touch, little lift, and he's on. There we go. So as you can see, it's a better stamped fish. Yes, I'm having to wait, but it's a skimmer. Every time these little hand-sized skimmers, and believe me, they do weigh. So again, 2 maggots. And all we're doing now is literally, we've been fishing for half an hour probably now, something like that. And literally, we're just going to keep going, keep catching these fish. Hopefully, now we're catching skimmers, we could get to hopefully sort of getting on for £10, hopefully. We'll see, but there's a small fish there holding it up. Yeah, we're having a bit of trouble now with small fish. So what we'll do, we'll cut there, come on to, if anything else changes, we'll let you know. While we're having a break from fishing the pole, I'm just going to come in and show you the rigs that I've set up. I've set up 2 rigs. So the reason why I've set up 2 rigs is I don't know what the fishing's going to be like. It could be brilliant, it could be hard, hence the reason why I've got 2 rigs set up. So it's a match-like kit in my RXX, rated to a 10 elastic, size 6 elastic, just nice and soft. So when you strike into the fish, play it out your peg, and you're swinging most of the fish in anyway. Comes down to a little Dacron connector. What I do with my Dacrons is I just cut them down so they're really short. So you've got like, it's basically direct to the elastic, so it's really short, 1 strike, lift, and you're into the fish straight away. Now coming down, I've got 013 mainline. No, not 013, it's 012 mainline. 012 mainline, got 2 number 8 back shot there, and I've got quite a lot of line between my float and my tip. So that's important. Like on venues like this, they're quite clear, and you don't want an awful lot of line between. You don't want a really short line. You want to keep your pole away from the fish. And another thing is as well, that's shot at dead depth at the moment. If I wanted to put like say 6-7 inches on the deck, fish a bigger bait like a piece of worm or something, if I'm fishing like a float here, like my Dacron here, like to my pole, I can't put line on the bottom. It's like if I wanted to move that 6 inches, or say a foot, I can't do that because it's too close. I'll just be fishing really, really close. So that's one of the reasons why I have a long line between my pole tip. So That's a nice little way now to come down to talk about the float. So the float is a Maver Signature Series 5. It's a wire stem float with a fibre tip, and it's like a little rugby style shape float, really perfect for this sort of game. Use a fibre tip because sensitivity is a must when you're fishing venues like this. You want a really sensitive float. When it goes in, you can shot it down, you're hitting all them little finicky bites that you wouldn't normally hit. So a fibre tip is really, really important because it makes the float really sensitive. Wire stem, like I've said, and then coming down, it's a 0.8 rig, so I don't really need anything, you know, I don't really need anything like an Olivet or anything like that. It's just a bulk of number 10s. So I use quite small shot. I don't like really big shot. Small shot gives me a variation of what I can do with the rig. More shot on your rig means you can do more with your rig, i.e. you can put your bulk up here, have loads of droppers if you want to fish on the drop. If I want to fish a hard bulk, I can bulk it all down. If I want to fish a bulk and 2 droppers, I can do that. So versatility in your rig is massive by just having shot on your line. Anything under a gram, I'll use shot. Anything over a gram, I'll have an Olivet and then shot. So I've got a nice little bulk there of number 10s, an inch gap there to a number 10, a 2-inch gap to a number 10, a 3-inch gap to a number 10, and then a 4-inch gap to a number 10. And that's just the shotting pattern that I've always used, really. It gets the bait settling nice, and to be honest, it's more natural to the fish. So the bait comes in naturally to the fish. It's not like a bulk and 2 droppers where it's a little bit slower. This is more natural, so it comes in on like a nice curve. It's really nice. So that's the first, that's the heavier rig of the 2. So the other rig I've set up is the same float, exactly the same float, exactly the same top kit. So yeah, same float, same top kit, but this time it's a 0.6. So again, it's the same shotting pattern, it's just a 0.6. Exactly the same depth, everything exactly the same, it's just a 0.6. So the reason why I've set up a 0.6 is, if they're a little bit shy and a little bit finicky and you want to fish more on the drop, you can do with a 0.6. It's more versatility in your rig again. And then the only thing I haven't really touched on is my hook link. So this might shock a few people. I'm fishing 0.6, so 0.06 hook link with a size 20 on the 0.6 rig. This one is a size 20, and then on the 0.8 I've stepped it up a little bit to 0.8 and a size 16. So I'll start with a 20 on the 0.6 rig, and if there's a lot of fish there, I'll go up quite quickly to the 0.8, get the bait down through them fish, get it fishing nice and quickly, get my bait down, get into them fish nice and quick. So they're my rigs. I think it's a nice time now to end the session, and I will show you what we've caught. What a day we've had at Patshull. So I didn't realise we'd caught all these, to be honest, and just been busy on the pole and chucking the feeder and stuff. I didn't realise, but we've got probably best part of 15 pound of fish there in 3 hours fishing. Really nice day's fishing. Caught some nice skimmers on the feeder like this. Now he's probably pushing a pound. Really nice fish. So yeah, we've had roach, perch, skimmers. We've even had a gudgeon in there as well, which I haven't had a gudgeon in here for ages, so that's quite nice. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these back. Thanks for Ben for filming today, really appreciate it, and I hope the channel members have learned something, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Let's get these back. And there we go, everyone's a swimmer.